everyone. I'm glad we kind of got a little bit of an asynchronous day today, and I wanted to go ahead and give you some instructions on getting into writing your body paragraphs just in case you are ready for that. So the first thing you're going to need to do is finish your introductory paragraph. That is due tomorrow, and it is a summative grade. So as we all know, if your introductory paragraph isn't working, your thesis statement isn't working, your whole essay is going to sort of fall apart. So that's why we wanted to make that a grade so that we could get you guys going on it right away. Then today we're going to go over an introductory to body paragraphs, and I'd like for you guys to start working on your body paragraphs. The essay will be due early part of next week because of the PSAT days and things like that, but I think it'll be like Tuesday. So first I want to give you a little bit of how to go from your thesis statement to a body paragraph. So taking that thesis statement and turning it into body paragraphs. So first I want to draw attention to your body paragraph structure. You guys have this in your class notebook. You have exactly where every sentence goes in an essay. I like to try to make it easy for you so that you have a template, and then eventually you're going to be able to let that template go because you'll know how to do it. But I literally have every sentence is there. It's part of your literary analysis essay structure in your class notebook, because you've also got the information there on introductory paragraphs as well. And this will tell you where and how to write each sentence. So the most important thing is to remember that your body paragraph topic is going to be your first how. So let's say you had decided that the author developed the character through characterization. This whole paragraph is going to be about characterization, all right? So the very first sentence you have is going to state the main idea of your paragraph. It's going to come from your thesis statement, tying your thematic statement to your first how. So you're going to say, you know, the author shows the theme of whatever it is, isolation, evil, whatever, through the characterization of the protagonist, something like that. Then remember, you were going to be using quotes as evidence. So the next thing you're going to need to do is introduce your data. Your data is your quotes, okay? You need to give it a little context. What's the situation that your data came from? What was going on in the story before this quote happened? So it could be something like, as the devil led young Goodman Brown farther into the woods, he realizes he's something, right? And then you give your quote. And ideally, you weave your quote nicely in, like Jonas notes, or young Goodman Brown notes, or the setting is described, blah, 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 and then give the quote. Then you're going to include the page number in parentheses at the end of the sentence, because that's MLA format. Then you're going to do the same thing for your second quote. Give it a little context. You know, later on in the story, as young Goodman Brown approaches the terrible sort of satanic temple in the middle of the woods, he starts to become afraid. Then you give your quote, okay? Same thing. Then finally, this is the most important part. You analyze your evidence. Explain how those two pieces of evidence, how that characterization, that change in his character, illustrated the theme. This is where you tie it back to your theme. This can kind of be the hardest sentence to write, but I think you guys can do it. I have examples from The Giver. They went back from my thesis statement. So mine was about characterization. So introducing the data quote would be, as the novel opens, Jonas is nervous about his role in society selection, but he does not question the validity of the process. So I'm going to explain what my quote's all about. Then I'm going to give you the quote. Jonas notes he was excited, certainly. All of the 11s were excited about the event that was coming so soon. Then I would have a second piece of data that maybe showed how his attitude changed. And in that second piece of data, that second quote, I will have noted that there's a change. That final sentence is where I can say where the change was. So my example is, As Jonas understands more about his society, he realizes that the lack of choices reveals a destructive and intolerant streak in his society. So I explain how my two quotes proved my point. Then you can have a concluding or a transition sentence to connect it to your next paragraph, but you don't have to have that. That's just a kind of an extra if you don't need it. And then be sure that your quotes support your thematic idea. So don't go all freestyle on me, and if you were talking about evil, have something that has to do with innocence, right? Or if you're talking about innocence, so just to try to make sure that your quotes stay on topic, okay? All right, so I want to give you an example. Again, I'm using the giver. So I'm going to show, I've got the thesis statement, and then I'm going to show you how I can make it into an entire body paragraph. So my thesis statement, which is going to be the last line in my introductory paragraph, would have been, the theme Lowry explores in The Giver is, in attempting to promote fairness in a society, rights of the individual can be restricted to destructive ends. Lowry develops this idea through the evolving characterization of Jonas in contrasting settings. So that's my thesis statement in my body paragraph, in my introductory paragraph. The body paragraph that would go along with this is going to be about, this is going to be the first body paragraph, and it's going to refer back to characterization. So you see characterization here. That's my first how. So my first body paragraph is going to be about my first how. So Jonas is a dynamic character, and as he learns more about his society, he begins to understand the power of choice. As the novel opens, Jonas is nervous about his role in society selection, but he does not question the validity of the process. Jonas notes, quote, he was excited, certainly. All of the 11s were excited about the event that would be coming so soon. However, as he evolves in his role with the giver, he starts to question why choices were eliminated. He asks the giver why the community does not seek out his wisdom, and the giver explains, quote, they don't want change. Life here is so orderly, so predictable, so painless. It's what they've chosen. The choice to experience a painless life was made for Jonas before he was even born. He had no say in it. This lack of choice led to some destructive trends in the community, like release, which is a kindly way of saying put to death. So I showed how Jonas changed, how his character evolved through the two quotes, and then I explained my thinking at the end to say that this choice, this lack of choice, actually was destructive to the community. Okay? So this is what you guys are going to be doing. You are going to be taking your thesis, your hows, and turning them into body paragraphs. I will tell you that using that structure from your from that I gave you in your literary analysis structure will really help you as you go forward with this. Please go ahead and give it a try, and then Coach and I will help you out when we get back together on Wednesday. Thank you.